on Do Not Disturb, and I have my messages on so I can see all of your questions. I am here with Reed Veit, and he is a professional saddle maker, guys.
I don't know about professional, but I'm doing it.
So welcome back to Training Wild Burros. We are here to help you navigate saddles because this is something that comes up a lot. But before we start, I want to thank all of our subscribers and everybody for watching, joining, whether you're asking questions or just quietly watching. We really appreciate that you're here. And of course, to all of our members, like you guys are rocking it. We really appreciate you. So today we're going to be talking about why it's harder to fit a donkey or a mule with a saddle, what a saddle maker is looking for, common problems, what to expect if you're having one custom made. And the picture on that thumbnail, guys, that's one that Reed made for me for Wild Donkey Awe. And then how poor fit is going to affect your donkey or your mule. So what do you think there?
Well, poor fit on a saddle with a donkey or a mule can make it not fun to ride for either of you. For one, your saddle's going to be doing all kinds of goofy stuff, and therefore your animal very well may follow suit in doing all kinds of goofy stuff. Moving around different, not moving the way you want them to, and just generally having a problem going over any kind of terrain that you may encounter. MaryJo mentioned that she had a saddle fit to a mule that she had, and they brought the mule into the shop, and the guy threw a pre-made saddle up on her and said, "Oh yeah, that looks like it fits her good." And then when she started to ride it, she said that the saddle went forward and back, rocked forward and back, right?
Hers was like, it was side
Was
to
it like
side.
this, MaryJo, or like this?
It was like this on that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Well, the difference is, why don't you grab your phone and we'll look at these trees.
All right. So now I haven't switched it over, guys, so this is new. No, wrong button.
Gonna work.
Oh, look it. I did it. There's Hannah. They're going to get married, guys. Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so here we have two trees. This is a horse tree, a fairly standard horse tree. These are both of these trees are built by the same maker, a very reputable maker. They're the top quality tree that you can get your hands on, in my opinion. So the difference between the two of these, this is for my mule Quinn, here, this tree, and this is just built for a standard horse.
Fred's mom says congratulations.
And the biggest difference between the two of them, now these are different seat lengths, so the bars are a little bit different lengths too, so just please ignore that. But this shape right here, this contour, is called rock. And the rock in your tree helps fit the contour of your animal's sides. A common horse has a pretty good back, is kind of flat on top and then comes in and then flares up to the shoulders. You got your shoulder blade on your horse, and generally there's kind of a pocket behind it. That is built for, the reason they have that is so that your saddle tree can fit them. No, that's not true, but that's generally how horses are built, or at least a well-built horse looks like. Has a good pocket behind the shoulder, and that helps your tree stay in place. Whereas mules, thanks to their donkey dad, have a way flatter contour right here. They're considered what is called straight. And there is straight horses out there too that don't have much contour, and it's just breeding and genetics is what it is. Sometimes it's their weight. If they're super fat and out of shape, they'll get straight, and then if you get to riding them and get to using them and actually get them conditioned, top shape, they will get that. And it's not an atrophy from your tree that's making them form that way. It's just them getting into shape, you know. So Does that make sense?
It does. And Fred's mom, you remember Fred, Hannah? Fred is the most beautiful donkey probably in the whole world.
Wow.
Very large man.
Yeah, he's 16 hands. He's
Awesome.
beautiful.
Cool.
But Fred's mom says it's amazing how different those are side by side.
Yeah.
Just,
It really is. So the mules, thanks to their donkey daddy, get the average mule out there has a very straight back. They have very little contour, and they're really quite narrow. Even a big mule is way narrower than a horse. And you wouldn't think it to look at them. Maybe some of these ginormous draft mules that are used for packing and driving are a whole different story, but we're not talking about them. We're just talking about a standard riding mule right now. So they're quite a bit narrower in the back, too. All the way, they're way narrower than a horse is. Or at least Quinn is for sure. So then that leads us to another. If you can just drop your camera down here and look right here, MaryJo. Look at the angle difference between this, where these bars are coming up like this, and these bars are coming up. If you put this tree on a horse, on an average horse, you're gonna pinch them right here. This is way too narrow. And oftentimes this is way too straight. So their back is gonna go like this, is gonna make a big space between the bar from here to here. And you're not gonna make contact with them. And therefore, if you ride all day in this saddle on a horse, okay, on an average horse, the vast majority of the time when you take it off, their hair is going to be wet in the front and it's going to be wet in the back, and there'll be a big dry spot in the middle. Your tree is not making contact with them, and that is a sign of poor fit.
so a dry spot means there's no contact right there.
Very little contact right there. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
you mean too much, right?
Well, if too much contact usually comes down to sizes from this big to this big, too much contact. And that'll make it, and that'll be dry too. But a huge big spot generally means that your tree isn't making contact with the animal. And that is the purpose of the bar, is to make contact with your animal. Of course, now you do have leather underneath on top of this, and it's molded to the bar, and I could show you one. So you're not losing the general shape, you're just putting a skirt, which is the piece that your sheepskin goes on top of the bar. Let's look at this one quick. It's going to be a little bit tight here, but so this tree, you can see I have a rigging hung on it. Those ones out there are just bare trees. Nothing's been put on them at all. This has a rigging on it and a skirt blocked on to the bottom side. So here you can see that I have this piece of leather, and it's formed. Can you see that?
I can, yeah. I'm going to zoom
It is
in.
formed around the bar. This is not going to take away from any kind of contact that your animal has. It just adds a layer of leather on top of the bar, and they're both the same thickness. There's no great big lumps or bumps on this leather. So I don't know where I was going with that, but that's what it is. That's where your skirt is blocked onto here. And these are mule bars too. These are 16.5-inch saddles, so they're pretty big. But you can even see right here that this is almost completely straight. And the saddle that this mule is, the mule that this tree is built for is way bigger than Quinn, but still very straight and very narrow. So, yeah. That is two of the biggest differences in a horse tree and a mule tree, is the steepness in the back and the straightness in the bar right here. So that other than that, that's the only thing that affects the fit of the animal. I guess we could talk a little bit about gullet height. Everyone says I need an 8.5-inch wide gullet. No, you do not. You do not. This width right here just denotes on how far down your tree sits on your animal. This is a wade fork, this is not. But a common measurement is like 6.25 by 90 degrees. That means that this is each 45-degree angle right here, but it's all rounded off, it's all smooth, and it's usually not. Fits the vast majority of animals out there. The wider this goes, the further down this tree will sit on your animal. So right now, let's say this tree is sitting on a horse. His withers might be right here, and we've still got clearance. If you were to widen that out way more, you're gonna lose ground, and then pretty soon you're gonna be hitting his withers with the top of your gullet. So really, the gullet height plays a little bit more part in it. So Quinn, being as she's a mule and doesn't really have a wither, this has a little bit lower gullet than this one. It's not a whole lot, and it doesn't really look like it, but the steepness of the bars is showing a little bit different. It might look like they are sitting the same, but they're not. Yeah. I guess I don't know where I was going with that. But.
That's okay. What about, we talked about what a saddle maker is looking for when you're going to have one custom made? Like, what if somebody wants to get one made from you?
Sure. Well, if someone wanted a saddle built for me and they're across the country or across the state or whatever, and we cannot get together, I have some your animal may need. So, I would start out by sending you those. If you were completely serious about getting one made, I would send you those cards, and we would try and get together on that kind of measurement system. Generally, what I would look for, if someone is just out of the blue wants me to build them a saddle, I'd have them send me pictures of their animal, standing square, all 4 feet, kind of on level ground, and their head up. I don't want their head down because that's going to change the shape of their back a little bit. I want their head to be up, picture from the side, and their head to be up, standing right at their tail, standing right behind them. Like your belly pressed up against their butt almost. With their head up, I would like a picture straight down their back, and that would give me a general idea of how much shape their sides have, just to get a start. So if someone had a horse and he has a pretty good back and everything looks square, we might not even need the Dennis Lane cards, and you could almost make a for sure commitment that a standard tree like that one on the right would fit. If your horse is nothing special, is not ginormous and not too small, and I mean, it really will fit the vast majority of stuff out there. So, but if I'm going to go out and pick riding stock, which I have mules and I love mules, so I'm kind of damned from the get-go of having a hard-to-fit animal. Everyone says, my mule's hard to fit. Well, no joke, they're a mule. That's just how they are. They're narrow and they're steep and they're straight.
Now, mules, but most of the people watching this channel are donkey people.
Okay.
So what about the donkeys?
Good luck. I don't know. I don't know. They're so hard. The donkeys, even there, I don't know about the 16-hand mammoth. I'd really like to look at him. It'd be cool just to see his back. But like honk. So okay, let's talk about this. I got MaryJo a tree for her donkeys, and I put it up on their donkey honk, and it fit just fine. Really, it did. which that is not always the general rule. I think we just got really lucky there.
Mm-hmm.
And even before I had it out at MaryJo and Dan's house, I played with it quite a bit and set it up on a bunch of different stuff, even horses. In my big fat little fjord mule and on Quinn and on different horses, and it actually fit all of them fairly good.
Is this a donkey tree or
It was
mule?
the donkey tree
Okay.
that I got for your mom. But those donkeys, man, if you have them, you really know they're built like a playing card. I mean, they're, for one, they're small, really small statured, and really very, very steep in the front and the back, with almost always no shape to their sides. That's just their general, that's really their most common build. So for a donkey, I don't know, I have some cards that go really, really steep in the front and the back.
Mm-hmm.
The measurement cards.
The measurement cards that go really, really steep in the front and the back positions. That is, and that might work. We could maybe get a better conclusion of what needs to fit where.
Maybe one day we should play with those cards on our donkeys. We do have a couple donkeys at the house.
Oh, you
Maybe
do?
30 or something like that. Yeah,
donkeys
one or
out there,
two.
so
Yeah.
a couple to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the donkey tree that you used for Oz saddle,
Yep.
it fit Aw, Valhalla Grace, Daphne, Honk.
Yep.
It fit all of them when we played around. So you do have a tree that works well for donkeys.
Yep. And I can get a hold of them. And that's just assuming that your donkey isn't something spectacularly different as far as the body shape.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's that with the donkeys, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're an interesting critter, and just weird for their back at least.
I don't think we've talked about common problems yet, have we?
Oh, no, we haven't. But I guess a common problem would be having too much rock in your bar. Just like I showed you the shape, the contour going front and back of the bar on the mule tree and the horse tree. In fact, if you come around here and get a shot from the front looking back, I'm gonna go over and get close to the cut.
Do you want to take it?
Yep. So this, you can see that this part of the tree right here kind of swoops into the animal because a standard horse has a lot more shape than a mule does. This one's kind of like looking right down a tunnel, like a train tunnel, really. Very straight all the way through. Whereas this one has some contour to it to fit the back. So a common problem would be if you're riding around, you set your saddle up on your donkey or your mule, and you sit astride them, your tree is going like this.
That's what happened with the one that we got.
Yeah, because it's only making contact right here, where it bows in the majority.
Interesting.
So this part, everywhere here, except for right where my fingers aren't touching, is not touching your animal. So your entire weight is right here, and that doesn't add very much stability. And then if you're going down hills, you're doing this all the time. You're rocking way back, and you're rocking way forward until your tree physically cannot go down anymore on them. Would be a very common problem to have with a mule or a donkey, because mule and donkey saddles aren't really very common.
No,
Not unless
they're not.
you're buying one custom made usually, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a custom maker. It just really seems that way, and I would venture to guess that the vast majority of factory saddles out there that are quote unquote mule or donkey saddles probably have quite a bit more rock than your mule or donkey actually needs.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't see what you're going to throw it on, and they probably really don't care. They're just trying to get trees out the door and get saddles out the door. This is what they're trying to do.
That's
That
really
would be
interesting
tough.
to understand why a saddle would rock side to side. You know, front and back I understood already,
Yeah.
but that saddle that the saddlemaker sold us went side to side. We never got that mule out of the round pen. And then I bought one at an auction that it was just like, I'm gonna try it. And when I got up, it was like a teeter totter side to side, not front to back. It was just like, but now I understand why. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So it could be a vast majority of problems, and not having seen this saddle in action on this specific mule, it's really hard for me to draw any kind of conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have been too wide, and it probably wasn't too narrow. But it could have been too narrow where you're only sitting right here, so you're slipping around. It's just, think of it, I don't know, there's probably a better analogy than this, but think of it as like grabbing a jar. If you're gonna unscrew the lid on a jar, and you only have your thumb and finger, and it's stuck on there with honey or butter or whatever you have, and you're trying to pull it, unscrew it, it's not going to go. But if you have your whole hand on there, you can, more surface area is what I'm trying to say. The more surface area of your tree that is making contact with your animal, the better it's going to stay put. Always. The more friction it's going to cause if it's going left or right, and up and down, or forward and back, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
The better it fits them, the better it's going to be. It's like a good shoe. You know, if your shoes fit as you walk around, your heel's not going out at the back, and your toe's not going to be sliding up to the front of the toe of your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Because your foot is making contact, and it's making contact with your foot over the top and on the bottom. You're riding smooth. You can walk without blowing a shoe. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. When I think about the question of how does a poor fit affect or a good fit affect,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we will ask that one here soon. When I think about, like, I also used that poor fitting saddle on another mule. Her name was Penny.
Yeah.
And every time I would lean forward to scratch her neck, she would start throwing her head.
Yeah.
It made her super uncomfortable.
Yeah, probably was pinching her.
So it'd be like walking around with a rock in your shoe. Like, how do we expect our animals to behave if they don't have proper fitting equipment, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, and some are more sensitive than
oops,
others.
sorry.
It seems like a horse, especially one that's well broke. I mean, you could wear a complete hole in them and never see it. Like
Mm-hmm.
in the animal until you unsaddle them, they've got a big spot that's raw or something like that.
Oh.
Way more. Did you shut off the video or is it
No, I do it every once in a while. I mess, but it doesn't go
Are
off.
you trying to find the other question?
Yeah, it was about treeless
What-
saddles.
Someone asked, what about treeless saddles for donkeys? I've seen mixed reviews.
Do you want me to field that question right now?
Go ahead.
Or do you want me to keep talking?
Oh.
Well, I forgot what I was saying. Something about, yeah, if you were leaning forward, you're probably putting more pressure on an ill-fitting saddle that was probably too narrow or too wide in the front,
Mm-hmm.
or had too much rock or something. When you leaned forward and put your weight on it, it was just digging into her,
Mm-hmm.
and that made her mad.
It
Well,
totally
what
made
I
her
was
mad.
saying is some will take it and some won't.
That's a good
Some
point.
mules might have they're kind of touchy buggers sometimes, especially a little bit waspier mule. Even just a little bit of something poking them or bothering them, they're going to blow up, or they're going to run off, or they're going to throw their head up and down, or kick out at you, or try and reach back and bite at the saddle because they don't know what's hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the answer there, is when you lean forward, you put more pressure on an already ill-fitting part or portion of your tree, and that makes them mad. It makes them uncomfortable. So how can you expect them to be nice and gentle when you're every time you bring that saddle out and your mule's ears go back and their head comes up and they go,
Yeah.
oh shit, they're gonna throw that on me.
It's gonna hurt.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually kind of that way. And then some, like Quinn is very stoic. I think that you could wear a hole in her and she wouldn't do anything.
But eventually, I think that they would get sour. Like, maybe they'll take it for a while,
Yeah,
But eventually that they're gonna be like, gosh, you're not fun to be with.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that affects. On the question about the treeless saddles, I'm sorry, but I have no idea.
I do. A donkey's spine protrudes more than a horse's with how their shape of their body is, and you might be able to explain that part better. So if you're riding your donkey bareback or in a treeless saddle, you want to make sure that that person is like super light because their spine sticks up differently
Yeah,
than a
that's
horse.
true. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why these mule bars are so steep in the front and the back, is because even mules, even a big mule, has a high spine, just the way that they're built.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a horse will be kind of flat in the back and kind of flat all the way through, and you never do see a vertebrae
Mm-hmm.
in there, or you can't really feel the vertebrae in there because they've got all that flesh. Mules and donkeys, even when they're in shape, you usually can. If you can't feel it, you can visibly see it
Mm-hmm.
right down their back, their high spine. The treeless saddle, in my opinion, is a gimmick to try and say, well, a tree is not going to fit your mule, so just go without one. Or it's not going to fit your donkey, so just go without one. And MaryJo is exactly right. You're going to sit right on their spine. And and so another thing that the tree does and the skirts do is disperses your weight evenly across the saddle. So my 195 pounds sitting on this saddle right here is going to disperse evenly the entire length and width of my skirt that's blocked underneath the bar, like I showed you earlier. So that's, if we just threw on a tree that had a rigging on it, like let's say we just threw this on right here. I've got this ground seat isn't done, but I've got a rigging on this tree, no skirts. As you can see, if we were to just throw this on a mule and swing astride it and ride off, and right now we could. We have everything that it takes to ride, but a stirrup leather. All of your weight is just going to be on this bar. It's just going to be this big. All of your weight split in half is going to be on each bar. So
Would that be okay?
Concentrate pressure. Well, no, not really.
Maybe if you're really light.
Even the first saddles ever designed that we've found archaeologically, like Mongolian saddles, Chinese saddles, and they rode donkeys. The Chinese and the Japanese, they rode donkeys all the time. In the Eastern Asian countries, used donkeys a lot more than horses. Way back, even ancient times, when saddles were designed, look very similar to this today. They have two bars. So even they understood that you need to stay off the spine. The tree adds structure so that you're not sitting on their spine and that your weight is dispersed across their fleshy sides.
So definitely that's the danger of using
I think so.
yeah. A
Now,
treeless saddle.
If you're 90 pounds or 100 pounds and you're going to go out on a donkey, I think you'd probably be fine. But other than that, MaryJo makes a really good point. You're going to sit on their spine. The treeless saddle is not going to disperse your weight very well because there's nothing in there to support you or support the animal. So that's my 2 cents on that.
That's how I feel too. And we do use a treeless saddle for training, but that's for getting them used to this. It's so light, it's easy to throw on and off. But and I had got it for Seamus because he's so darn fat, right? However, I jumped up on bareback for like 5 minutes a couple months ago, and when I kind of tilted my pelvis to ask him to stop, I could feel his spine. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
your fat pockets aren't helping.
He's really fat. So,
Seamus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's just a danger, a common danger of using those things. I understand why people use them. There's nothing new.
All right, guys. Well, this is, you have to let us know if you have any more questions, but hopefully this helps you understand more about what goes into having a saddle made. If you guys are interested in having your own custom saddle made like I did, check out Reed. In the description is his website and his Facebook page. So you got both contact ways to get in touch with him. And thank you, Reed, for letting us come in here and see your shop. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
You're welcome. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's topic is about introducing dogs, chickens, and goats to your donkeys. So make sure you come join us tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Have an awesome evening.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Bye.